You know that moment. You're lying in bed at midnight, perfectly tired, but your brain is basically running a full TED talk about something you said 3 years ago? Yeah, that's overthinking. And it's exhausting. Here's the part nobody talks about. Overthinking doesn't feel like a problem. It feels like thinking. It feels like you're being responsible, careful, thorough. But what if that feeling is the trap itself? William James, the father of American psychology, once wrote, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." Simple, almost annoyingly simple. But try doing it when your mind has already booked a round trip to every worst-case scenario. So I did something uncomfortable. I decided to stop. Not forever, just 7 days. No obsessing over decisions. No replaying conversations. No, but what if spirals at 2 a.m.? What happened surprised me. Not in some dramatic, life-changed-forever way, but in quieter, stranger ways that actually stuck. Stay with me through this whole video. There are 4 things I discovered that most people never realize about overthinking, and one of them might genuinely shift how you see your own mind. Before we get into it, smash that like button, drop a comment, and share this with someone who genuinely cannot stop thinking. Subscribe if you're new. Don't skip any part. Each section builds on the last. Number 1. Overthinking is a habit, not a personality trait. Most people think they're just wired to overthink. They say things like, "I'm just an anxious person," or "I've always been like this." But neuroscience may suggest otherwise. Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, a researcher at UCLA, found that repetitive thought patterns physically reinforce neural pathways. The more you overthink, the more your brain defaults to overthinking. It's not personality. It's practice. Think about that. You've been practicing overthinking, possibly for years, without realizing it was a skill you were building in the wrong direction. During my 7 days, the first thing I noticed was how automatic the spiral was. A small decision, what to eat, what to reply to a text, would immediately trigger a chain of, "But what about?" thoughts. It wasn't dramatic. It was just relentless background noise. The shift came when I started treating each overthinking moment like a habit loop, not a character flaw. That small reframe, from "I am an overthinker" to "I am doing overthinking right now," created just enough distance to interrupt it. You are not your thoughts. You are the one noticing them. Number 2. Most of what you fear never arrives. Here's something that appeared to change everything for me around day 3. I started writing down every anxious thought I had. Every "what if this goes wrong" spiral. Just a quick note. Then at the end of the day, I checked back. Almost none of it happened. Not most of it. Almost none. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." He said this roughly 2,000 years ago, and somehow it still describes the average Tuesday morning. The mind is a prediction machine. It runs simulations constantly, and it heavily biases toward negative outcomes, because historically, that kept humans alive. But most of us aren't running from predators anymore. We're running from emails and awkward social situations, and our nervous systems haven't gotten the memo. Tracking my fears on paper made the gap visible. The imagined danger felt real. The actual day was fine. Not perfect, but manageable. Ordinary, even. There's something almost funny about that, once you see it clearly enough. Number 3. Silence feels uncomfortable before it feels like freedom. By day 4, something odd happened. When I wasn't overthinking, when I deliberately redirected my attention to what was actually in front of me, the quiet felt wrong. Almost itchy. This is what psychologists sometimes call the effort paradox. The brain has been so accustomed to constant mental chatter that stillness registers as a problem to solve. Blaise Pascal, the French mathematician, captured this with uncomfortable precision. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He wrote that in the 1600s, "We now carry pocket-sized distraction devices everywhere." The problem has not improved. What I found around day 5 was that the discomfort of silence was temporary. Once I sat with it long enough, without reaching for my phone, without manufacturing a new worry to chew on, something underneath it opened up. A kind of clarity that didn't feel like a thought at all. More like a pause between thoughts. That pause, it turns out, is where most good decisions actually live. Not in the 47th round of mental rehearsal. In the gap. Number 4. Action is the only real antidote. Everything else in this video is observation. This point is the mechanism. Overthinking, at its core, is a substitution. The mind offers you endless analysis as a stand-in for the thing you actually need to do but are afraid to do. It feels productive. It is not. Dr. Susan Nolan Hoeksema, whose research on rumination was foundational to how we understand anxiety today, found consistently that action, even small, imperfect action, interrupts the ruminative cycle more effectively than trying to think your way out of it. You cannot think your way to courage. You act, and the thinking reorganizes around the action. Here's a real example. Someone I know had been deciding whether to apply for a job for 6 weeks. 6 weeks of pros and cons lists, of imagined rejection, of researching the company obsessively without ever opening the application. One afternoon, almost on impulse, she filled out the first field on the form. Just her name. That was it. Something unlocked. She submitted it that evening. She got the interview. The thinking didn't get her there. The first small move did. Whatever you've been figuring out, there may be a step so small it feels almost pointless. That's probably the right one to take today. 7 days. That's all it took to see it clearly. Overthinking isn't intelligence. It's fear wearing the costume of logic. And the exit isn't some massive mindset overhaul. It's small, consistent interruptions. Noticing the loop. Naming it. Choosing differently, even just once, and then again. The brain is trainable. That's the real news here. What you've practiced, you can unpractice. Slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely. If this video landed for you, even one part of it, share it. Someone in your life is probably drowning in their own head right now and would never search for this on their own. Backhand index pointing right, like this video. Leave a comment. Subscribe for more content that actually respects your intelligence. And share this, because some ideas are worth passing on.